Hi folks, I'm Mike and I hope you're well. It's great to see you all here in the live chat. This is my first live stream, I think, for over a year. And even with the one I did a year ago, it was like quite a few months before that. I was getting on for 2 years before I did a regular live stream. I'm a little bit nervous about it. There's lots of things to control. I forgot about all of this and how confusing it is, and I've got no guests to help me out. So excuse me if I am a little bit amateurish today, but hopefully things have improved. I've upgraded my internet since I was last live on, so hopefully things will be good with that. I don't think I've got such a grainy picture as I always used to have, but we'll see how that goes, Australian internet, over the next hour or so. We are here to generate some AI music live. What does that mean? I'll reveal that in a moment. But you are going to take part. This is really an audience participation kind of a show today. And hopefully we can just push the technology to the edge a little bit between us. Or, well, we'll see anyway. I want to say up front that I don't have a particular bias for or against AI. I'm mostly interested in the technology because I've always been interested in technology. I don't feel ever so threatened yet, but I can see how some people do. And certainly I can see how some people's livelihoods are threatened. Maybe we'll touch upon that a little bit later on. But for now, I would say to you, whether you like it or not, it's going to be a part of the future of music making. You can choose to use it or not, of course. That's your choice. But we'll see what kind of results we can get anyway today. And let's see if your mind is changed at all by the end of it. I see from the little straw poll that I did at the beginning of this live stream that actually around about 30% of the live audience are pretty much against using AI. That surprises me that it's that low, actually. I thought more of you would be against it. So, look, I think you're a reasonably open-minded lot here. And as I say, let's see how impressed we are with it by the end. Let's say hi to a few people. There's some things going on in the chat already. By the way, if you're watching on the replay, I recommend you have the live chat open as you're watching the replay. It's going to give you some insights as to how people are suggesting things. I'll just quickly say hi to a few people. It's lovely to see Jade Starr here, the only person I've ever met in person, I think, from the live chat. Nice to see you, Jade. Thank you. Mimo is here, of course. Nice to see you here, Mimo, and he is one of our moderators, as is, I saw Doug in here as well earlier. Nice to see Doug and Kevin and Nick, a few other people. Ashley, look, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you're going to take part in this. So it's not going to surprise many of you to know the site that I'm going to be using for this, and its online service, is something called Suno. Okay, it's probably one of the more well-known sort of sites at the moment. I've subscribed to it, meaning I've paid for it, and they did send me an email saying I own everything I create from now on. How much that legally holds water, I don't know, but we'll see. But they don't know I'm making this video. I haven't got any affiliation towards them. I'm not endorsing them. It's just the tool that we're going to use today. However, the people who are sponsoring this video is DistroKid, and you can see the link that I'm pointing to there and down below. If you want to sign up for them, you'll get a VIP discount. Let's go ahead and jump over to Suno, and let me give you a bit of an idea of what happens over there. And before I do that, to avoid any technical issues, I'm just going to play a little bit of music quickly from the site, and just let me know that you can hear the music. Okay, just a little bit of a test. Let's just play it. Okay, this is not good. I've got a bit of a crash going on here with Suno. Let me reload it. One moment. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's try again. Suno, don't let me down. The whole show depends on you. Okay. Let me know if you are hearing music now. There's a bit of a delay in the chat, so it's going to take me a while to know. Da, 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 da. Just let me know a yay or a nay if you can hear music. That would be good. I see that you should be hearing it now. Good. Thank you so much, Mimo. All right, let's end that one there. So the idea with Suno is we go over to the Create tab over here, and we put in a prompt. Now, I imagine I've only used this for the last sort of few days or so, I suppose. I imagine you get better results as you give better prompts. Yeah. So we may be experimenting with that altogether. Now, I will say I've got a little bit of structure about what we're going to do. So the first thing I want to say is we're going to create 4 songs all in all. They're pretty quickly created, okay? So the first song that we're going to create together is going to be a ballad. We're going to generate a ballad. We're also then going to generate a pop song. We're then going to generate a rock song. And finally, we're going to generate a question mark. I'm going to talk about that later because it's a specific thing I want to sort of test the technology with and test the musicality of it with, I guess. To give you a very rough idea of how you use it there, you'll put in a prompt. And I'm going to put in a prompt right away. I'm just going to copy and paste one over here to Suno. Let's just pop that in like so. And you probably can't read that, so let me just pop it up on the screen for you. Okay, so it's going to be a country song about a group of people using AI to create terrible music. Let's see if we can get a story about ourselves perhaps coming out of this right away. It's generating it now. I just put that as a prompt and I clicked on generate, and we're going to see what happens, okay? So, takes a moment or two, so talk amongst yourselves. We've got a request there for some metal. Maybe we'll change that rock to metal, Martin. That could work. Now, generally, it takes around about maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and it gives you 2 songs right away, okay? So you can see that it's come up with 2 already here. It's given them a title, Digital Rodeo, and then it's also generated a thumbnail. We'll talk about what it actually generates all in all. But let's have a listen to the first of these. It's come up with some lyrics. I think if we click on this, you can see the lyrics on the right-hand side, right? And let's have a listen. And I'm going to give this a bit of a play, okay? So you guys can really digest what it's created here. And I've got no idea, of course. It's just been generated. Here we go.
Out in a small town where the vinyl spins slow, a new kind of rodeo started to grow. Folks traded their guitars for screens and some code. Now their honky-tonk heartbreaks turned into a joke.
He said screens and code. I thought he said coke.
Grandma's old banjo don't strum like before. Now it's just data fed through a back door. Songs about tractors and beer, lost honesty's glow. Now a robot's the bard, and we reap what we sow. In the digital rodeo, where the cowboys are zeros and ones, even the heartbreaks feel hollow. Days of rhythm and soul all but done. We're dancing with circuits and lines, but the music's left us behind. In the digital rodeo, where true country just don't feel so fine.
Okay. Wow. Let's have a listen to the second one. Give me your thoughts in the chat there. Kevin's right. Kevin says it sounds like a parody of country music. It's an oxymoron. I'm not going to go there, Kevin. But let's have a listen to the second one. Yeah. And Jade says soulless. Oh yeah, I'm with you, Jade. I'm with you. But let's have a listen to the second one and see if we've got any soul there. It probably wasn't a great prompt for soul, but anyway.
Out in a small town where the vinyl spins slow, a new kind of rodeo started to grow. Folks traded their guitars for screens and some code. Now their honky-tonk heartbreaks turned into a joke.
Now notice this is the same lyrics, okay? So one of the things it does here is generates lyrics, and then it gives you 2 versions with the same lyrics, okay? So carry on.
Grandma's old banjo don't strum like before. Now it's just data fed through a back door. Songs about tractors and beer, lost on his Steve's glow. Now a robot's the bard and we reap what we sow.
Let's go for the chorus.
In the digital rodeo where the cowboys are zeros and ones. Even the heartbreaks feel hollow, days of rhythm and soul all but done. We're dancing with circuits and lines.
And who said that about the, yes, Sausage. G'day, Sausage. Sausage said it's the same voice. And actually, when I did some test runs with this earlier today, that's something I noticed. It's the same voice every time. So they've obviously picked a sort of a generic male country voice there. Now, whether you can change that at all with the prompts, I'm not quite sure. So if you could ask for a deeper voice or what have you, we can experiment with that later on. So you get the rough idea, folks. Now, in a moment, we're going to generate a ballad of some kind between us. And I'm going to ask you all for some keywords, some sort of things that that you would like to hear a song about. Just make your suggestions in the chat. Bear in mind there is a little bit of a delay, so let's see how we go. But we are going to start off with the ballad. Now, what we're going to do this time, just reset things here a little bit. I'm going to go to custom. I know you can't really clearly see the screen probably, but custom allows us to create the lyrics and the style of music in separate parts of the prompt here, okay? So we know we're going for a ballad, so I'm going to type in a ballad and give me some idea for what the song could be about. So a ballad about all right, romantic ballad we got in there. We've got a romantic. As I say, if you're watching the replay, keep an eye on the live chat and then you'll know how I'm coming up with some of these things. There is a bit of a delay, so I'm going to wait for you guys for a moment. Style of music as well. If you've got any suggestions about the style of music that you would like this ballad to be in, then just do go ahead with that. And I'll give you a moment there in the chat. I know you're all thinking. Birds. Okay, a romantic ballad about birds. We've got a suggestion there, and look, let's go for it. I know this is going to be a bit humorous probably, but I'm going to take a romantic ballad about birds saving democracy. Thanks, Jack Dodd. That's brilliant. I'm going to do that. You never know. Saving democracy, that could work, isn't it? Hey? Let's pop that in there. All right, romantic ballad about birds saving democracy. A style of music. You tell you what, Ashley, let's save metal for later. Oh God, tempting, isn't it? I'm going to type in here at the moment style of music. Hey, what about jazz? Okay, I'll put that in there. But we'll keep your metal for the rock one later on, Ashley. And I think that's where we're at. We'll give it a title. I'm going to say what, just randomly what Doug said there, jailbirds, and we'll go ahead and we'll click create. Okay, so we've got a romantic ballad about birds saving democracy in the style of jazz, and the title is called Jailbirds. Okay, Kabir's just suggested Taylor Swift as a part of the prompt. Now, I will say that if you put artist names in, it rejects it, okay? So, yeah, okay. So let's go through. We've got a few other things. Just while we're looking at this, Mark Tanner says, once you understand how to frame prompts carefully, you can get great bases to be worked from. You may well be right, Mark. You may well be right. Let's have a listen to the first one of our Jailbird songs.
A romantic ballad about birds saving democracy.
Oh, you know what? I didn't click the generate lyrics button. You got to generate lyrics. Sorry. You put in your prompt and then you got to click on generate lyrics. That was going to be a short song otherwise, wasn't it? 2-line song. Okay. We'll let it generate lyrics and we'll do it again. You want to generate. Jade's got some interesting information. I'm not up on all this stuff. Jade is there about why Suno are apparently being sued because they're taking scraping music from tags found on a particular website. Oh, interesting. Okay. So Charlie says, so it's not just production aid generated song, and yet the entire song is what we get there, Charlie. So yeah, scary, a bit scary. Can you choose gender of vocalist? You know what, Doug? I think you can. Let's make sure we do that in the next time. If I've now generated the lyrics, let's have a listen to our Jailbird song, "Birds of Freedom." Give the song a rating from 1 to 5 in the chat, please, if you will. Oh, long intro, isn't it?
Birds sing in the sky, love like wings they fly, hearts beating wild, freedom never mild. In the dawn's light, holding on so tight, feathers brush the
Not digging the
air.
melody here.
Hope they always share.
Okay.
Sing birds of love and freedom, guard our dreams in flight.
Ashley, absolutely right.
Save the world with feathers,
Modern elevator
democracy in sight. Through storm and rain, songs.
I'm going to put my hand up here. I don't think I can bear any more of that. That was truly awful, wasn't it? It wasn't. They're normally bland, but yeah, I'm with you. Very nursery rhyme level lyrics. We're going to get the same lyrics for the second example: "Birds of love and freedom."
Love like wings they fly, hearts beating wild, freedom never mild. In the dawn's light, holding on so tight.
It's really interesting, actually, isn't it? I'm going to say that I feel that those are two pretty poor examples. Yeah, it got a jazzy feel. It was more than generic, wasn't it? It was just had nothing about it whatsoever. Not very impressed there. I'm definitely giving that a 1 out of 5 personally. Doug says, can the vocal melody be influenced? As far as I know, Doug, no, the vocal melody can't be influenced. However, you can put in your own lyrics. I'm not going to do this today, but I did experiment earlier on where I took the lyrics to one of my songs, gave it the lyrics, and it did these interpretations of my own song, which was kind of interesting. And I do believe you can also upload between 0 to 60 seconds worth of audio, some music, and you can upload that as a kind of a prompt for something. So yeah, I guess I haven't tried that. Maybe we'll try that in another show. So anyway, so far I with our first example, I'm not over the moon with it personally, but you know, I will say though that it's sort of, from a purely technical point of view, I guess if I was a person who had at all sort of coded this, if I'd been involved with coding this, and I've been a coder in the past, it probably would be reasonably pleased at this point of what it's churning out. It's churning it out, isn't it? But yeah, look, let's see how we go with our second one. We're going to go for a rock song this time. So let's start all this again. I'll get rid of all these lyrics over here. Let me just bring my other screen up so you can see what I'm doing. Let's get rid of all of those lyrics. So I think that, let's get rid of those, yeah. I think that we're going to put in, obviously, rock, metal, as a couple of prompts in there. Someone asked for that earlier on. Give me some sort of idea of the subject matter of our rock song in the comments, and I am going to call it, well, I won't give it a name yet. I'll wait for you to come up with it. Thanks so much for everyone, by the way, who is here in the live chat, and for all of your help on this. Keep your ideas coming. It's depending on you, guys. I don't want to take the reins too much on this, so give me some sort of idea about a topic of a song. And you know what? Even though this wasn't what was meant, rogue drones. Okay, Doug, interesting. I'm not going to be able to. Oh dear, here we go. Rogue drones. Oh, it's letting me down. Trying to copy it. I can't type words like that, you know, Doug. Not that one. All right, rogue. Drones. Hate typing. Rogue drones. Bad guys don't believe in love. It seems familiar. I've heard that one before, I'm sure. A family of squirrels who move into the park of an upper class neighborhood. You know what? I'm going for that. Rogue drones and a family of squirrels. What was the other part of that? I'll forget the rogue drones, and we'll mix them all up. I know I should copy and paste Mimo. It's hard. While I'm going to really mix it up, while spiders invade the earth. Cool. I don't care what it's called. Drone time. I think it will generate a title. Didn't it do that before when I generated the lyrics? Anyway, I've clicked on generate lyrics. Keep thinking about your ideas for the other songs coming up, by the way. There's going to be a pop song after this, and then there's going to be a special thing, which I'll explain in a minute. So Beneath the Squirrel's Moon is the name of this song. It's come up with some lyrics there. Let's have a listen to see... Or let's actually just generate that now that it's created the lyrics. What have we got here? We have a comment from Lisa. Hi, came at the end, rewatching from again. I've used how to write song lyrics and suggest chord changes. Did a pretty decent job. A great starting point for me anyway. You know, I could see that. I could see that if you're just kind of... what would be the word? If you're just not being inspired on a particular day or something along those lines. Thanks by the way, Jay. Then I could see inspiration being a prompt here. But you could also just listen to some other people's. I'm going to call it real music. But yeah, up to you. Let's have a listen. Beneath the Squirrel's Moon is what we've got here. I want to hear the lyrics here. Rogue drones in the sky.
Rogue drones in the sky, squirrels on the ground, spiders creeping by, chaos all around, nuts and bolts collide, squirrels scurry fast, spiders weave their life. How long will this last? Squirrels, they gather round, spiders taking flight, drones up in the clouds, dancing through the night. Metal meets the fur, acorns bouncing high, webs begin to blur.
It sounds like it could be a theme tune to some like 80s type of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something along those lines. I mean, we gave it a pretty kind of odd prompt, I suppose, so we're always going to get something which is a bit humorous and probably a bit cheesy. Look, this one, all I hear is what the fox say. Yeah, it's kind of along those lines, isn't it? Yeah, along those lines. Let's listen to the second version that they've given us, and don't forget to give us a mark out of 5 for me. Oh, this is a little bit more like it. Come on. Long intro.
Low drones in the sky, squirrels on the ground, spiders creeping by, chaos all around. Nuts and bolts collide, squirrels scurry fast, spiders weave their glide. How long will this last? Squirrels, they gather around, spiders taking flight. Drones up in the clouds, dancing through the night. Metal meets the fur.
You know what? I'm going to leave that one there. Look, I'm a little bit more impressed with our second effort than I was for the jazz one. The jazz one was kind of rubbish, actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, that one was a little bit. Well, it was. If you wanted a cheesy sort of a cheesy kind of a thing, then you know. But, you know, Jay's right. Nonsense will create nonsense. That sort of brings me to what's going to be our fourth prompt. And I want to give you guys time to prepare for this. Because, I mean, my whole thing is especially in terms of lyrics, is that these lyrics are... They make some kind of sense, don't they? They make some kind of sense. But I haven't heard anything from AI yet which is sort of moving in any way, right? Which is really emotive and moving. So while we're doing the pop one, which we'll do in a moment, I want you to put your heads together and try and come up with some prompts that might create something which is a little bit more moving. Jade, I think you could be on this one. As you say, nonsense creates nonsense. Let's try for something. And look, you know, this could be something quite sad or what have you. Just put your, you know, it may even be a description of a song that you've already heard. Don't tell me what song it is, but, you know, let's see if we can come up with something which actually moves us. I'm very, very skeptical about whether this is possible, but with good people like yourself, maybe it is possible. So we're going to move on to the third of our songs, which is going to be a pop song, after we have heard from the sponsor. You get to release your music directly to some of the best platforms on the planet. We're talking Spotify, iTunes, TikTok, Amazon, you know, all of the household names. And you don't need to open any accounts there because DistroKid does all of that for you. Now, once you've created your master and your album artwork, it's as easy as filling in a friendly form, uploading them, and DistroKid takes care of the rest. All for one flat annual fee, and DistroKid takes none of your royalties. Sign up with my VIP link in the description and you'll get an extra 7% off. Okay, so Jack Dog, I think the Healing of Love, I'm guessing, is a suggestion to do with the fourth one. I think we need something a little bit more sort of longer than that, or a bit more descriptive. But anyway, let's just quickly do a pop song. So I'm going to start off a song about... Let's try not to be too silly with this one. Two lovers who... I'll let you come up with the who. Who... And what we might try and do in this is suggest, I think Doug earlier on was saying, can we suggest a gender at least? So a song, let me put in with a female singer. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly or not in terms of the prompts. But anyway, we'll see. I just want two lovers who... Oh, there's some good suggestions for the fourth song. All right, I'm just going to go for the pop song here. I'm going to finish it off because I think you guys are more interested in the fourth one. A song about, for females, about two lovers who I don't know why I'm doing this. Why is this thought popped into my head? A song with a female singer about two lovers who get drunk and die. All right, sure. It's a pop song. It's a pop song. Let's see what it comes up with here. Then we're going to go on to some of your prompts for the final thing here. Okay, it's come up with lyrics. Oh, all right, okay. And it's called Dance on the Stars. We're going to get it to create that. And I know I'm going to prepare some of these other prompts that you're suggesting here while it's doing that. I'll let it generate these first. Here we go. All right, first one of Dance on the Stars. Remember, this is the song about two lovers who get drunk and die.
Nights we sway, laughing in a drunken daze. World spins in a blurry maze. Love found in the night's haze. Liquor flows like river wild. Hearts untamed and running wild. Hands in hands we feel alive. Moments fleeting in the vibe. Dance on the stars, crooked in the scars. Lost where we are, too far, too far. Glasses clink and moonlight seeps. Promises we couldn't keep. Whispers in the air so deep. Night not meant for sleep. Siren sounds we didn't hear. Driving fast, no sense of fear. Headlights blind and crystal clear. Destiny's near.
And I'll say again, we were talking about the same voice is happening all the time. I've experimented with some pop songs, and it's pretty much the female voice is always got this sound to it, in my experience so far anyway. So, you know, I guess it is a little bit limited. When you first try it, you go, oh, wow, it's amazing. It creates these songs with these, you know, vocals and everything. But then you start to realize there's quite a lot of similarities in what comes out with it. Let's do the second one.
Underneath on nights we sway, laughing in a drunken daze. World spins in a blurry maze. Love found in the night's haze. Liquor flows like river wild. Hearts untamed and running wild. Hands in hands we feel alive. Moments fleeting in the vibe. Dance on the stars, cook it in the scars. Ooh, ooh. Lost where we are, too far, too far. Glasses clink and moonlight seeps. Promises.
I've got so much to say about some of this, really, from a songwriter's perspective. But anyway, there's a pop kind of thing. It sounds obvious. Look, it's a stupid thing to say. It's very generic. But of course it's generic because it's feeding from, well, I don't know where it's feeding from because Jade might have something, but it's normally these things are feeding from this data pool, you know, and it's sort of saying, oh, what do people normally do when they make this kind of music? And so what you end up with is something that sounds like music, doesn't it, of some kind, but not the kind of music you'd be in a hurry to listen to again after the show. But anyway, you know, in fairness, we may not be giving it the best of prompts, but I do feel and I had this thought the other day. Recently I've been listening to a UK artist called Ray, and if you're from the UK especially, you're probably very familiar with her because she just cleaned up with 6 Brit Awards or something like that anyway. And And I quite enjoy listening to her and listen to her performances and her creativity. Anyway, she does one song in particular called Ice Cream Man, and it's really about her at some point meeting a producer in a studio and being sexually assaulted by that producer. And I think that at times when I've seen her perform this, it's like really, really moving. The lyrics are raw, unpredictable, and the performance, of course, is there. And that got me thinking, could AI ever create something like that, if you gave it the right prompts or what have you? Well, maybe I'll find out in a moment, but I'm not at all convinced that it's going to be capable of that. Anyway, we're going to go for a prompt for our final, our fourth song here, and I'm going to start off with Jade's suggestion, which I've copied and is now pasting in there. Let's see, contemporary country. Okay, I'll just make sure it's got country in there. Contemporary country, adult contemporary, electro pop, female vocalist, male vocalist, love ballad, sad, lush, sentimental, eclectic, bittersweet, romantic, melodic, rhythmic, passionate. Is that your prompt, Jade? I think that was the one. Let's generate the lyrics and see where it goes from there. It's called Lost in Your Eyes, Jade, your country song. I'm not sure you're going to want to like me calling it your country song. You might not want to ever be associated with it. But let's see. There's some other great suggestions in here, by the way, which I've copied already and ready to paste in, which we'll try in a moment. And let's try one from Jade's prompt there. Lost in Your Eyes.
Rain falls down now. Hearts in overdrive. Whisper soft and sweet. Feel you come alive.
Oh, you could be right. You're right, Jade. I think it's a generic. Let's stop that. I want to give Jade's. I'll just do it as a general prompt in there, Jade. Let's try it again. So it just describes everything there. Yeah. And that voice is just the same though, isn't it? Yeah. Just a little bit, well, just the same. I did, as I say, I tried suggesting a voice style the other day. It doesn't let you do that at all, which I guess is what a lot of people would like to do. Then the lawsuits would be a many. Right, okay, let's try this again. Sorry, Jade, I'll put that in now as just a regular prompt. Whispers in the Wind, it's called.
Long road ahead, silent night sky. Heartbeat slow, wondering why. Moonlight fading, stars burn bright. Feelings heavy, holding tight. Whispers in the wind call your name. Lonely shadows play this broken game.
Yeah, so interesting. First of all, Martin, anything to say about the chord progression? Yeah, look, it's predictable. But in fairness, is that AI's fault, or in some of these genres of music, are the chords generally predictable in the music which is released anyway? I think that often case they are. But, I mean, would we want something unpredictable for this style of music? Is that what people are expecting? I don't know. I wouldn't normally listen to this style of music if I was really honest with you anyway, in general. And I wouldn't normally be moved by it often. And I'm not being moved by this. We'll have a listen to the second version.
Long road ahead, silent night sky.
Yeah, but look, I'm still not being sort of moved by that in any way. We'll see. We'll see. The next prompt from you guys I'm going to do in its entirety, and I apologise, I don't know who typed this, or gave this one. A father regretting not spending enough time with his children, and now they're all grown up. We won't bother with, we'll let it figure out style and everything itself. Let's have a listen. Oh, we won't have a listen because I've actually got to generate. Yeah, it seems to look. It earlier on when I typed in when I put in some of my own lyrics, I didn't indicate which parts of the lyrics were verses and which parts were choruses, etc. I just put the lyrics in raw, and it actually did a really good job of figuring out which part was which, to the point where it identified the bridge, which was exactly the same as where I had a bridge in my song as well. So, it's surprising how well it does with these things. Okay, so with this one, a father regretting not spending enough time with his children, and now they're all grown up. The song is called Time Slipped Away, piano driven.
Years went by so fast, I didn't make them last. Work took me away, now it's just yesterday. Missed your first steps, missed your first words. Now you're all grown, and it feels so absurd. Time slipped away,
Yeah.
right through my head.
Okay, it's what can I say? It just sounds. I'm beginning to feel like a bit of word salad, just words that, they could have strung together. They make some sort of sense, but it's just. Anyway, I'm not being moved by it, as I'm sure you're not as well. But if you are, then good on you. Let's have a listen to the second version of this.
Years went by so fast, I didn't make them last. Work took me away, now it's just yesterday. Missed your first steps, missed your first words.
Yeah.
Now you're all grown, and it feels so absurd. Time slipped away, right through my hands. Could have been there to see you dance. Now I'm left here with what I missed. Time slipped away, so many moments dismissed. School plays and birthday cakes, a father's.
So I guess it's no surprise that what we have there is lyrically, something which is very explicit. Okay, so there's not a lot of kind of poetry or I don't know what the words are, but there's nothing subtle about these lyrics. It's like, that's the subject you want us to talk about, and we're literally going to talk about that. And there's no sort of hidden messages in there, or there's not much subtlety to it. So it's interesting. I've heard people write worse lyrics. That's one thing for sure. As for structure there, I cut it off, but you could hear it started to build there. So, it has some sort of sense of dynamics. It's got, the gentle start. It came in a bit harder, a bit of a rhythm, sort of drum was coming in a little bit later on there and stuff like that. So, I guess it's doing okay with that, and as we'd expect, it's generic. Last one. And again, I'm not sure who suggested this one, but song about 10 a.m. thoughts, motivation about making life worthwhile, and also wondering if life is worth it. You know, that's the question. A lot of people have written songs about this kind of thing, so it's got a large pool to draw from. And this is going to be our final song of the show, folks, before I give you my true thoughts, which I've been trying to avoid a little bit so far. But have a listen to this one. This one's called Midnight Musings. Midnight Musings, okay. As I say, song about 2 a.m. thoughts, motivation about making life worthwhile, also wondering whether life is worth it. And, you know, as we know, we could have suggested a genre, a style for this, you know, and probably, I mean, I did try and suggest some dynamics earlier when I was testing this. You know, I suggested a big crescendo at the end of the song, and it entirely seemed to ignore that, didn't come up with anything at all. So there you go. Anyway, listen to Midnight Musings. There we go.
Clock strikes 12 a.m. Thoughts are running wild, chasing dreams or shadows in a restless mind. Life's a winding road, the turns and twists unknown. Heartbeats echo softly, lost but not alone. Is it worth the fight, worth the sleepless nights? Dreaming in the dark, hoping for a spark.
It's got some dynamics to it again.
Eyes wide open now, in the dead of
Okay, not moving me. This is as much as I want to listen to of that. That's just
clock
awful.
strikes 12 a.m. Thoughts are running wild, chasing dreams or shadows in a restless mind. Life's a winding road, with turns and twists unknown. Heartbeats echo softly, lost but not alone. Is it worth the fight, worth the sleepless nights? Dreaming in the dark, hoping for a spark. Eyes wide open now, in the dead of night, searching for a purpose, guided by the light. Questions linger here, tugging at my heart. Motivations whisper, don't let dreams depart.
Okay.
Every step I take.
Well, you know, I've got to say I'm personally left feeling a little bit cold. I've got a little bit more to say about that, though. I think whenever we're talking about AI, we can only really talk about where it's at the moment, okay? And, you know, I tried some things like this maybe a couple of years ago, and they were technically nowhere near this at that time. So as in terms of where's the technology at, I think that you could perhaps convince some members of the general public that these are real songs. Something about the quality of the audio. By the way, if you in the paid version, when you've generated the song, you can then download an MP3 and a wave of it. They are a bit better quality once you download them, and you can also download a video, which is really designed for a phone, format. So it's in portrait mode, and it's just like a lyrics thing, really, with a bit of a background going on. Anyway. So definitely the technology is sort of, okay. It's getting there. Sure. Could it be used for something? Well, I used it at the beginning of the show with the countdown at the beginning. So I used it to create some background music because you can create instrumentals for it. For content creators like myself, if you just need a bit of background music there, which is unobtrusive and no one really cares about it too much. It just needs to be there. It could be useful. I do subscribe to a couple of services for that at the moment for my own content creation, and I probably spend over $1,000 a year for those services. And unfortunately, I could see this having the people that make income from that not obsolete, because at a higher level you need something of a higher quality, but certainly I sort of feel like in terms of just background music or some sort of generic music, it's getting pretty close to something which is quite usable in a lot of cases. But there's a difference, isn't there, between this type of music and what I'm going to perhaps, I don't really like to say it this way, but I'm going to, and art, really. Art meaning something that, when I say move you, it doesn't mean, I don't mean it has to be deep and emotional. Art can be so many other things than that. It can make you feel angry, or it can make you want to dance. It could, all kinds of things. But there's something about the human experience, in my opinion, which isn't out there for that data pool to draw upon necessarily in such a tangible way. Yes, it can figure out chord structures. Of course it can, because we're all quite guilty of writing generic chord structures and using fairly generic arrangements and production even, and maybe melodies. And whilst we like to think that we push the boundaries sometimes, for most of us, we ourselves are a bit like AI. We draw on our life of experience, of hearing all the music we've ever heard in our life. We draw on that, and it becomes, it seeps, of course, it influences and becomes a part of our music. Hopefully we try and push the edges of it. I don't think AI is trying to gather from that pool and then push the edges and come up with something a little bit different. But for me, when there's a subject to a song which relates specifically to human experience, then I'm not convinced. Well, it's certainly not there at the moment, and I'm not convinced how it can get there. And some people tell me I'm wrong, and but I just want to finish off with something that I've been experiencing recently, which is related to AI, but not necessarily music. When I'm not talking about music and creating content for a music channel, I quite like to watch documentaries about history, all kinds of history of all different kinds. And there's lots and lots of channels on YouTube for that. And what's happened a lot in the last, especially the last year or so, there's a whole bunch of channels that have popped up where obviously the narrator is not a human. Well, I say obviously, it's not actually obvious right away. So sometimes when these things come up, maybe for the first 3 or 4 minutes, I'm thinking it's just a human voice. It's that good. But then I will notice something about the intonation, or perhaps they haven't, adhered to the punctuation correctly. And there's a giveaway. There's a definite giveaway. And I'll go, oh, this is AI. And then it starts to irritate me just a little bit. But then what I've noticed is that in terms of intonation for voice, just for spoken word, it becomes really, really repetitive, really, really repetitive, and it's subtle. Not everyone will notice. I'll get to that in a moment. But I'm going to read some of your comments now in the way I think this AI voice works, and it sounds a little bit like this. In my humble opinion, the bigger problem is when the AI starts pulling data from its own creations and inbreeding music video and music. Agreed. I have ChatGTP generate lyrics, but for me to write music to it, but just didn't feel like my song because it wasn't anything. I would write so it wasn't hard to make it feel like my song. We stand on the shoulders of giant. Oh, inbred bots sound scary. How sings Skynet. You get my drift. I was trying to do it there. I'm not very good at reading, obviously, but the intonation becomes quite repetitive after a while. And so, yeah, and Danny's saying there, AI voice docs are unwatchable. However, sometimes I go into the comments, and I know we're on YouTube. If people hate it, like people will hate on people's background music and stuff. If people hate it, they'll definitely say in the comments. and I see quite few comments about it at all. It makes me feel like the population on the whole may not notice. It's good enough that perhaps even 90% of people may not notice. And at the risk of sounding elitist, no, you know what? I'm going to be unapologetically elitist about this. I think with where we're getting to with this music, there's going to be some large proportion of the population who are fooled by it, who don't notice that it's generated by AI. And for more discerning people, they will notice. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't worry about it personally, because I don't think it really replaces art. I just don't think it does. It creates music. It does create music. Yeah, sure. Great. It creates sound, it creates lyrics, it creates chords. But there's something a bit more to music than that for me. There's something just a little bit more intangible that you can't get from a data pool. Some people strongly disagree with me, and they say, no, it's going to be able to do that as well. But yeah, anyway, don't really I'm not feeling it, let's say. It would take quite a lot to convince me. Now, I was discussing this with my son the other day. He's 17 years old, and usually says much more wise things than me, if I'm honest with you. And he was saying, well, don't worry about it, Dad. It's like no one cares about it. Like, we know they can do it, but we don't care about it. He said no one will ever connect to a piece of AI music. And I was like, why? Why are you saying this? And he said, for example, Kanye West. He said I guess he's talking about his age group, his friends. He said people used to love Kanye West until, Kanye West's personal life and views and behavior, people objected to it. And now they don't want to listen to his music anymore. And the other more really obvious example I can think of for that is Michael Jackson, for example. So there may be some people that love to listen to Thriller, and then when they form an opinion of Michael Jackson's personal life, I'm not making a comment on whether it's true or not, but I'm just saying once people form an opinion about that, they don't enjoy listening to his music. So human beings at the moment don't just listen to music, they invest in probably the artist to some degree as well. And I thought his point was great. If there isn't an artist behind it, if there isn't a real human being behind it, someone that you can also invest in, then it's all just a bit empty, isn't it? And no one will care about it. And this is the thing. Music we love, we care about, okay? I'm going to mention again, I talked about it earlier, but Ray, I've been listening to Ray a lot recently. And it's not just the music. When I've seen her interviewed and stuff and she talks, I've watched some videos about her productions and things like this. I kind of feel like I dig the person. Now, that may all be marketing, fine. But I'm feeling like I'm investing in... I'm listening to the music, and I'm attached in some way to the creator of the music as well. And basically, that's my main point. I just don't see how it ever replaces that. I don't see it happening. I don't feel threatened by it, but I am saddened that I know that some people in certain forms of music creation are going to lose employment, and I think that's a shame. Let's be honest, as people who are watching this channel though, and people who are in the live stream, income is one thing, making a living is one thing. But for most of us, it's not really why we make music. And most of us make much of a living out of our music, okay? And if you do, that's awesome. Good on you. If you're a live musician, don't think you've got any problem with that. But a part of music for me is the joy of creating music, yeah, and performing it with and to my friends and family and to you guys and what have you, and all of that. So I don't feel threatened by it, and I find it a little bit fascinating, to be honest with you. But it's not going to stop me writing and creating songs at all. I don't care how good it gets. It won't stop that. I'll still love it. It's what I really, really have loved to do for my whole life. So if you feel anxious about it, stop it. Don't worry about it so much. You can still do your thing. And do your thing. I'm way more interested in hearing about your thing, which is probably why this is going to be a one-off show, than listening to this to music generated by algorithms. That's my opinion, and as Jade has said, it's all about the journey, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It really is. And you've actually just reminded me there, Jade. The other thing I want to say, apart from having a lovely time with the wonderful people that I've had a lovely time here, and it's lovely to connect with you people, I have not enjoyed creating this music at all. And let's say on my account here, it had created a wonderful song which sounded great, you know. Why would I feel good about that? What am I going to boast to people about it? Am I going to say to people, hey, listen to this great song I gave a prompt for? No, it's just like cheating on an exam, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so sure, maybe people like the song, but what sense of fulfillment are you going to get from that? Absolutely nothing. Zero. There is no real pleasure, and there's no sense of achievement in things which are gained with so much ease, in my opinion, as fascinating as I find it all. Anyway, that's my opinion. I am reading some of your opinions here, and I will read your opinions in the comments down below if you are watching the replay. I hope you enjoyed being here today, folks, despite, I think, generally, my feeling is that this was an interesting exercise, but ultimately, you know, anyway, hopefully I can do some more shows soon and about your music. Let's do that rather than do this. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry I rambled on a bit there on the end, but I'm sorry about my poor use of technology, but I really enjoyed seeing you all here. It's great. It's lovely to see these familiar names. I haven't been in contact with you much for the last couple of years, but I will try very, very hard to do some more live shows soon. Thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely morning, evening, lunchtime, whatever time it is for you in the world. And I hope to see you all in a video